Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm media. Hey, what's going on? Are you defending me?
Don't fight back! Don't fight back! Je suis une grand-mère, une arrière-grand-mère, et je ne laisserai pas faire un gouvernement pour des mesures abusives d'un virus qui ne tue pas plus que la grippe.
This is like, we're documenting what's happening here, guys.
I know, Yankee. You're friendly.
So why are we getting such a tough time? We've been through this so many times with you guys.
You just told us you were in the protest. You're gonna come with us.
We'll understand now. Why is he being arrested? He's on public property.
I'm documenting the protesters.
Hey, toi, c'est le trottoir.
What's going on? I need to hold my cameraman. Hey, what's going on? I need to hold my camera. Hey. What's your problem? Okay, take it easy, buddy. What do you mean? You're smashing my camera.
Why don't you? Why don't you use your guns and go after criminals? I don't listen to you. Come arrest me. Come arrest me. Go ahead. Come. I don't obey you. Go ahead. Come. Okay. Yes. Wear your mask. No, I'm not wearing it. Go ahead. Go. Okay. Arrest me. Go. Let's go. Here.
You don't wearing your mask in the manifestation.
Yeah. I told you guys. I was right. The collective forces of this nation is perverted. It's corrupted. They are thugs wearing badges. That's all they are.
Turn off your camera.
No thanks.
Okay, can you?
Yeah, you're not. You don't have your mask. It's okay.
I'm media. I don't put your hands here. Why?
Sure.
Why are you putting your hands? Why are you putting?
You're
not allowed to manhandle somebody. You're not allowed to manhandle. Why are you putting your hands on me?
That is footage from Montreal, where our team was on the ground documenting what I think is the strictest lockdown in Canada. For months, I thought that dishonor belonged to Toronto. But not only does Montreal have a regular lockdown, they have a curfew at night, treating adults like children, treating innocent people like criminals, treating the healthy people as if they are sick and poisonous. Well, our team was there, and as you can see, the police in Montreal don't like to be scrutinized. They didn't just arrest and ticket our people, they handcuffed our people. You saw our friend Mocha Bezirgan there. Efron Monsanto was slammed up against a van. Lincoln was arrested. Thousands of dollars worth of tickets. Also our friend Yankee Pollock down there. Needless to say, we will not be deterred. We will be fighting all the tickets. Lord knows we fight tickets for any public citizen. We'll fight them for our own people. We will continue to shine a light of public scrutiny on what I believe is police brutality. Mocha, great to see you. I want to salute you and our other young reporters. You have a courage and a spirit of freedom in you that I find quite touching. And I want to thank you for being at some physical risk because they're pushing you around. They're threatening you, and yet you endure it and go back for more. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I went there initially to put a light on what's going on because 3 weeks before they deployed tear gas to the crowd. And I thought, what are we doing in Toronto? We should be there now that Toronto has ended the stay-at-home order. No longer the police goes around and arrests people randomly. So my focus was shifted over there, and I didn't want what's going on in Montreal to go unnoticed. And the first time we arrived there 2 weeks ago, I was recording a gentleman's arrest for not wearing a mask. And while I was recording that, the police came up to me very close personally. They don't care about the 2 meter rule or anything. He grabbed me by my arm and then pulled me over and then gave me a ticket for not wearing a mask. And then tried to compel me to wear a mask that he provided with his hands, and it's a contaminated one. And told me if I don't wear that, he would give me more tickets.
Yeah, and I saw that, and you were outside. I think that's an important point. Mm-hmm. Everyone was walking around outside. I think he zeroed in on you quite clearly because you were recording him. I don't think police in Quebec are used to scrutiny. Now, the other day, when you guys were in Montreal, you guys have been going there, and the police now know you. You could see that in that clip we played. They know Rebel News. They know our Montreal colleague, Yankee Pollock. He happens to be Jewish, but I think he's our only person there who's Jewish. You yourself were born Muslim in Turkey. Lincoln, I think he's Christian. I mean, I don't check the religion. It wasn't on my mind. But for him to call us Jewish media, or are you a Jew? I thought that was weird. And I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't like it if it's some sort of anti-Semitic thing. I think they just don't like any media. I think we could be any color, any race, any background. The police would hate us anyways because we're showing what they're doing. I'm trying to make sense of that whole thing. What did you think that was all about?
I don't know what's going on internally with the officers there, but they are very unprofessional, very amateur. And the first night when we were going around downtown recording the curfew, we came across a guy who was smoking a cigarette in front of his apartment, and there were 2 police cruisers. So we asked the person, and this is all on camera, what's going on here? And he said, oh, the police officers are here to bust the party. So we walk up to the police, we record some B-rolls, and then the police officer comes out of his vehicle and says, what are you doing here? We're like, oh, we're media, we're recording, we heard there was a party. And he's like, oh, it's 3 a.m., some 3 a.m., like something, I don't remember the exact hour. And then he says, oh, in your paper, your workplace is in Toronto, and here you are in Montreal. And we're like, this is our workplace. You
go where the news is.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, well, I beg to differ. How come other media is not doing it?
Hey there. Yep. And also this as well. I'm just gonna get my ID in my.
How about you close your phone?
I'm sorry. This is our job. Sorry.
We have to. Like, you're not obligated.
Sorry.
There's no legal obligation.
I'm being paid to do this as a journalist.
We have to record everything.
Can you hold this for a second?
Yes.
So what are you doing outside?
We're looking for police interactions
No, you're
with
not.
the citizens.
Because it says here that under the law, you're allowed only to go from your home to your place of work.
Yeah, this is our work. We are.
I would beg to differ.
In what sense? We're here to
I don't
record
see
how the
people from
curfew is.
CBC or RT or CTV outside.
That doesn't matter. We choose to go out.
No, but that doesn't say. I mean, I'm not saying you can choose to go out, but it says here that you're only obligated. You're only allowed to go from your house to your place of work.
To me, that's, and you told me that on the phone when we spoke, to me, that's the giveaway. It's not, I mean, there may be some anti-Jewish feeling. I don't know. I don't know Montreal that well. I know the Orthodox Jewish community has a lot of friction with the police. So there may be that. But I think what you said is what's going on. The media, or what I call the media party, the legacy media, the government media, the bailout media, they're very compliant. They support the lockdowns. Their jobs haven't been damaged. They either cheerlead or they don't cover it at all. So I actually think the cops are shocked that any media would dare to scrutinize.
Yeah.
And would ask skeptical questions and wouldn't be obedient stenographers. I think they're just mad anyone's reporting them.
They were also, I think, mad because we kept recording, because after questioning us why we were here and why we were recording, he told me, you are under no legal obligation to record.
Well, of course, we're not under a legal obligation. It's our choice to record. Whenever a cop says, turn off your camera.
No, thanks.
No, get a court order. There's no such thing as a cop saying, turn off your camera. That's not a thing. But why would a cop say that? It's because something's about to happen that they don't want either the public to see or maybe even a judge to see.
They themselves don't have dash cams or body cams. And what I noticed, their name tags are made of some material, like metal, I think. And sometimes when the sun hits, it shines back at the camera and you can't see the name.
You know, it's interesting, our friend Yankee Pollock, and he does a lot of social media, so he's not frequently a reporter, although because he's out there, he goes out. And he just walks around and he films things, and he's done some interesting work that way. And so they know him now. But he's very friendly, he's very chatty, he'll talk to anyone, and he's not mean. So he actually engages with these cops, and they know him. And I don't think they like him because they've given him, I think, more than $10,000 worth of fines, even though he shows them his exemption every time. The move they use against him that really bugs me is they have those very bright searchlights. And whenever Yankee comes to ask him a question, they take a searchlight and point it right in his face to defeat the camera and also to cause him discomfort and make him look away and to obscure themselves. I think that is childish, bullying, aggressive, belligerent, and I think it shows a guilty mind. It shows that they're doing something they're not proud of, those cops. Hey, the other media don't report us. Hey, I'm going to block your camera with a light. Hey, you can turn off your camera now. That's all a poker tell, a giveaway that they know what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, and the second week when we came, we didn't even go into the demonstration yet. We just arrived and there were two officers walking and we were recording them. They noticed us and then they came around and grabbed me for not wearing a mask. Of course, this is not about mask or anything because all the supervisors that I noticed in different locations, different times, the supervisors are not wearing the mask for some reason.
The police
supervisors, yes. And the second time when I was arrested, I already had my mask on. It was not just an ordinary mask. It was a mask that also, it was a mask we bought because they deployed tear gas 2 weeks ago.
So it was an excellent filter. It wasn't just like a little blue paper mask. It was in case the police tried to tear gas you. So that's actually, you probably had the best mask on the street.
Yes, and I have been wearing that for half of the demonstration because I knew that the riot police would ambush the protesters and then pick randomly who they want to arrest. And they arrested this guy who was already wearing a mask, and that was very interesting to us. And we were trying to record, we were trying to understand what's going on, but they wouldn't let us go through. And we didn't attempt to go through actually. And Efron, they wouldn't let us go through even after they grabbed the guy and they were going back. Lincoln was on the sidewalk. He was arrested after they let us inside. And when he was arrested, I removed my mask. And my mask was on all the time. And David did an interview with this gentleman in Queen's Park. He had the same mask. You can't hear a single word of the guy, what he's saying, because the mask blocks it. So I removed the mask to say, why are you arresting him? They are not violent people. Why did you arrest two members of the media? And then this big cop, riot police, comes and says, put back your mask on. And for 2 seconds, I put it back. And then my brain just, I said, wait, who is he to tell me to do that? So I removed it. And what are you going to do? Arrest me? Go ahead. I don't obey you.
Why don't you? Why don't you use your guns and go after criminals? I don't listen to you. Come arrest me. Come arrest me. Go ahead. Come. Go. I don't obey you. Go ahead. Come. Okay. Yeah. Wear your mask. No, I'm not wearing it. Go ahead. Go. Okay. Arrest me. Go. Let's go. Here. You don't wearing your mask in the manifestation? Yeah.
Well, it's unusual to have such principled courage, and that's how I started our interview. I watched that footage, especially Efron, our head of video. I felt that was deeply unfair and abusive and harassing the way they treated him. And again, I don't know if there's a bit of anti-Semitism towards Yankee. You and Efron, I think, would be called visible minorities. I don't know. So I don't know if there's any of that there. I don't necessarily think it's any of those things. I think it's that you're shining a light of public scrutiny. And it's not that you're from Toronto. It's not that you're wearing a mask or not. It's not that Yankee's Jewish. It's not that Efron or you have a certain skin color. It's none of those things. That may be part of it too, but it is because you are telling the other side of the story. And they hate that.
Yeah, they are trying to intimidate and deter us from continually coming there every weekend.
Well, that gets my back up. And I remember when that happened at City Hall in Toronto, and the police were driving you and David Menzies away, and we all showed up as a team. I believe that we have to go back to Montreal, you and our team of young guys, you and Lincoln, and if Efron and Sid, we got a bunch of young guys, it's great. But I think if the police continue to defy our Canadian norms of freedom of press and rule of law policing, I think our whole team has to deploy, just to with lawyers in tow, just like we did in Toronto, because this isn't even just about us anymore. It's about what is Canada like a year into the lockdowns. We can't just passively accept what everyone else has accepted.
Yeah, I'm afraid that what is going on in Quebec will come to Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, because they have been going through these curfews for almost more than a month now, and the police walks around and grabs whoever they like who don't wear a mask, especially reporters.
You said one more thing to me when we were talking on the phone, when you were out there and I was here. You said, I think you said, it's like Istanbul. Is that what you said to me?
In Istanbul, lately, this has become a thing when I was living there. It wasn't like that before. There is like so many police officers everywhere. And these new hires they only need a high school diploma to become an officer with gun. And they go around and randomly stop people at major intersections at the middle of the night in a suburb neighborhood, or on the street anywhere. And if you're lucky, if you go from point A to B in Istanbul without being stopped by police and get your bag searched. And I have seen many videos where in Istanbul, outdoors, you have to wear the mask. And there was this guy who pulled down his mask and he was smoking a cigarette. Or there was this girl who was talking on the phone without a mask outside. The police will come up to her or him, and the media will come there, and they will record the police giving her a ticket. And then the headlines would be, look at this woman giving the police a tough time. Yeah, so, and it does, Quebec feels, Montreal felt like that, because I was, in a single day, abducted by police.
How many times?
In Montreal? Well, in one day, I was abducted twice. They tried to put me in the back of a police car to give me a ticket.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And they put Efron in handcuffs just to give him a failure to wear a mask covering.
That's absurd. Those are just tickets. Those are not criminal offenses. It would be like if you were parking in a no parking zone and arrested and thrown in the back of a police car. I find these things deeply disturbing. But at the same time, I'm very encouraged by our people. And I'm also encouraged by the fact that Quebec, where we're not normally strong, we don't speak French. Yankee does some journalism from Montreal, but we haven't had a force on the ground. But even in the last few weeks, thousands, tens of thousands, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands of people in Quebec have turned to Rebel News for our side of the story. And you were mentioning to me that people came up to you. Give me a little bit, give our viewers a little bit of that.
We were marching with the protests on the sidewalk, recording, collecting B-roll, and people would come in, and like 4, 5, 6 people at times, and they would give us fist bumps, and they would some of them don't even know English. And when I got my first ticket, 2 ladies came up to us, and they took selfies with me with the ticket, and they said, "Oh, we love Rebel News," and they weren't even speaking proper English. They were Quebecers. So, and when we first went there, we didn't have nobody knowed us in the march, so nobody came up to us and, "Hey, Rebel News." But this week it was different.
It's very interesting. It's very encouraging. We're going to keep doing what we do. Obviously, we're going to fight your tickets. I think we're going to take a larger action against the police. It's one thing to fight the tickets. That's a defensive move. But I think we have to proactively push back on the police in some legal manner, because handcuffing, arresting, harassing, I find it weird the way they call us Jew media or whatever. And again, I don't know if that's, I don't quite understand that. I think it's weird. I want to learn more about that. I think we have to proactively push back at the police. I think we've done that here in Toronto. You, Mocha, Lincoln were also assaulted in Toronto. We're suing 11 police officers in Toronto. And I'm not afraid to do that in Montreal too, because it's the rule of law. As I always say, if these policemen don't understand civil liberties and the rule of law and the limits on their power, maybe they need a judge to tell them. And I don't know what other media do. Sounds like other media are compliant. But as long as we have breath in us, we will push back against this tyranny. And you used some tough language at the beginning of the show. I think you used the word thugs. I understand that, because if someone has a gun and a badge, but they abuse those things,
if they step outside their boundaries, if they think they're beyond or above the law, then they are no longer an officer of the law in my eyes.
I think that's a very important point. The police, more than anyone else, have to follow the law, especially if they want the public's respect and support. And I say this as a lifelong supporter of police. I didn't grow up in Istanbul where the police were like a quasi-police state. I grew up in Alberta. Everyone loved and respected police.
My childhood dream was to become a police officer, but that took a 180-degree turn now.
Isn't that interesting? Well, Mocha, congratulations to you on your journalism. You have a new title, Chief Videographer. I think it's true. So keep up the great work. We've got your back. There's a lot of team spirit here supporting your work. I think it's very important. And maybe I might join you one of these days out in Montreal. I love that city. A lot of the fun parts of it are closed, the restaurants, the bars. It's a lively city. I'm sure it still has life.
Oh yeah, it does.
Well, maybe I'll go out there and take a look myself.
Yeah, it would be wonderful to go there as a team.
Right on. There you have it. Mocha Bezirgan, our chief videographer, who has been leading the charge with our team, Efron and Lincoln and Sid and David and others, and I promise you we'll keep it up.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.